Hey guys, welcome back. Before we dive into today's video, I've got a very important update for you. I was given the opportunity to work on some short films with an absolutely amazing crew, and we shot 3 short films in 3 weeks. 2 of those films ended up competing in the Orlando Independent Film Competition last night. I never ever thought I was actually going to be working in film, and I am so happy that I finally have the ability to do this. Being on these films with this crew, this blew my mind. The chemistry, the amount of work put into these films is enormous. This crew is probably the best crew I've ever worked with, and I don't think I could ever replace them. We took home 8 awards, including Best Cinematographer, Best Director, Best Story, but overall, we won Best Picture in Comedy. Absolutely huge achievement for this crew and for myself. Never thought I would be here, and I am so grateful I've been given this opportunity. Thank you guys, Chad, Austin, Alex, Harvey, and everybody else that was involved. I could never, ever replace this ever in my life, and I will never forget this experience. Anyway, 8 awards, Best Picture, best night of my life. And speaking about shorts, we found another one on the bus. This is not easy. This is still my 3rd attempt at trying to do a video in front of the camera. Welcome to bus life. I did attempt to fix the audio problem. I noticed the last 2 videos, whenever the camera was facing the other way, the shotgun mic wasn't working or making me sound great. So we've got some DJI labs on here, or Rode labs, sorry. So we have narrowed down a short to this specific area. We know that this left turn signal does not operate when the turn signal is turned on, and it ends up blowing the fuse every single time. It's somewhere in this rear panel. So once we finish up a little bit more up there, we'll move all this tools and supplies up towards the front, pull that panel, and get digging in. But other than that, we finally have all of the marker lights working in the rear. Comes all the way up. This one functions, but that little guy does not. And then up there, none of those function. And we're missing the one on the top left. And I believe we are missing the one on the top right. So those all need to be found and or just buy some new ones. We come in the bus. We put the original flasher in. The original flasher seems to work. The new ones don't. And our fuse that is blowing is one of those 20s down there. We still have a major rat's nest to deal with here, but we do know if we add power to these 2 wires right here, all of the marker lights turn on except for the front, and that brings us to this lovely line where it breaks here, goes in here, goes through there, comes up into here, and I don't know if you can see all that, but there's wires. They come over here, and they go down back behind all this to the light down, way down there. We'll get to that. But look at that. All of this ceiling is now insulated all the way to the very back of the bus. We have not dealt with this section back here, but mostly because we're not done back here, and we want to make sure that we still have access to all of this wiring before we start closing in any of these sides. But it's insulated all the way down the sides, all the way up to the front, both sides. Other than that side, there's one panel this window specifically right here. The panel below it is not insulated. It is cut, sitting right there. I just have stuff in the way, so that'll be done soon. We've decided that because we have wires that run through all of this, we're gonna utilize that. And we're gonna leave this channel all the way down. We will put some kind of insulation in there, but that is where we're going to run all of our wires that come all the way back to the back. Our power systems will go on our bed, probably right about there. And our plumbing, we're going to plumb into this section here. This will be for our shower, which is gonna go here. We're gonna drain at the front because the bus has a rake to it. It kind of leans forward towards the front of the bus, and we're not putting enough weight in here to actually bring the back end down. So it makes sense to drain towards the front instead of towards the back, because when the bus is sitting, if we don't level it, everything's gonna go to the front anyway. And then on this side where the bathroom's gonna go, we're gonna have a toilet here, we're gonna have a sink there, and we're gonna plumb everything into this section of the wall. That way we only need to run one line for fresh water, but also because on this side is where the sink is gonna go for our kitchen, and we wanna be able to get all the plumbing from one section, just to kind of minimize the amount of work that we have to do. I've strengthened these guys. They're not secure because this piece of plywood right here is actually gonna go cover all of these 3 windows here. And that's because right here, we're going to have the desk. This is where our workbench is gonna be. This is where all of our editing is gonna be done. We don't want people to see all the wires from the outside of the bus. So what we're actually gonna do is we're gonna put up that board that covers the entire section. It'll also cover all the insulation, but we're gonna get some of our best pictures printed on glass, and we're going to backlight it and put it on this side of that plywood. Instead of removing these windows, you'll just be able to see all of our pictures through those windows, and maybe even put like a TV screen or something in here so people can actually see the movies that we make also. We've also decided we're gonna put a projector up in here. We do know that we're still planning to put this porch out here. However, we have changed it. We're probably not gonna do one that folds down. We're gonna do one that slides in and out, because we know that we're gonna put a raised bed in here. We want the storage in the back. But if we put a slide, then we can just simply slide it out, the legs will drop, and then we have a nice spot here. So we'll put a projector on a swing arm up in a corner here, probably that corner. That way, when we're parked and we have our tent up and we have our canopy or anything like that, we could just project videos in here, do movies on the lawn, do movies wherever we're at. If we're covering anything live, we can also broadcast there where we're at. But that is the bus. That is the update for today. It is coming along, and you will see this thing next week at Space Coast Harley. It is still going to be yellow and black. However, tomorrow I'll be coming up here to cover up the last of these and probably put some Oliver's lettering on there, at least until we have the ability to completely finish the paint job. But yeah, that's the gist of it. It is coming along. It is getting there, and in due time, but not a lot of time. It's actually going to be done in a decent amount of time. My stepdad has all of this spare wood over here that was pulled down from fencing out front. So we're going to be using some of this in places that we need it, mostly when we build the deck up on the roof there. And our lovely neighbor, bought this property back here, and the property had multiple vehicles on it, including 2 food trucks. He pulled a bunch of supplies out of those food trucks, including hot water heaters and everything. And he's gonna be giving those to us to run in here. So we have hot water, and luckily, it's not gonna take anything out of our budget. So soon, probably by the end of this week, this will have a desk, it'll have a bench. We probably won't have the sink in the kitchen area in yet. We will not have the shower or the bathroom, but we will have the framing done for the bed, and we've got the roof panels that will be going in. I just need a second hand with those. They're a little more difficult to put up with only one person. And yeah, I think that's it. Can't really think of anything else. What am I missing?